Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey for several years. Thank you, Folgers. We appreciate you so very much. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Also, big thank you to Justin Snicker, aka Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for the contribution of his time, his music, and his voice for the intro you just heard. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite music streaming platforms. Also, big thank you, Steve McGinnis, the artist behind our logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the horror and Halloween genre, but does phenomenal commission pieces of any sort. So tonight, really looking forward to tonight. Let me tell you what, I have been looking forward to tonight since I booked this man. And I'll tell you what, his book was amazing. The N-1 Sessions, Real ET Agenda, Uniting Humanity, channeled messages from Reptilians. Yes, you heard me right. Wow. Reptilians. Yeah. Sirians, Pleiadians. I mean, there's a whole other world going on out there, and we really have no clue. Some of us have clues, but man, there's a lot of us that have literally no idea. So without further ado, let me introduce you all to Chris Berryman. Hello.
Hey, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So, yeah, I really wasn't just saying it. I was really looking forward to this. You know, as soon as like Gavin sent that, I was like, yes, please. And wow. So the book, I have to say, is a big wow. And I'd like to just kind of put that up there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It is.
I love book covers. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was really, I mean, it was things that I didn't expect. And when I saw it and read it, and I went, I get it. I resonate with it. This is a thing. And there were times where I went, what the heck is that? Because as we go along, you know, of course, you know, we'll pick your brain, and I know you're going to have a lot to say. And this is about you, not about us. So we're just going to let you go, you know, go. But there are things in there that made me kind of, you know, the movie The Matrix kind of came to mind a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I love that because I think there's a little bit of that in there. Yeah.
Yeah, there was. And it was one of those aha moments where I kind of said, I need to put a little check mark next to that because I really need to ask about that similar.
I love it when people write in books, and in the back of the book there are several blank pages. So fill it up with your own impression. That's what I say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, all right, let's go.
I'm a margin person.
Yeah.
I'm margin too.
Mess up the book.
Yeah.
So I have to say, because of the type of book this is, which is phenomenal, where the background comes from. Like, are you an experiencer? Did you have experiences as a child or growing up, or what made you lean towards this specific type of a book?
Yeah. Well, in childhood, I did not have any ET to my conscious mind, any conscious ET experiences in my childhood. I was raised Catholic, and I think, you know, and some people who have had psychic experience, they like could see, they had imaginary friends that they could see that no one else could see. I didn't have anything like that. I was raised Catholic, and the highest mystical experiences that I remember was just sort of trancing out, staring at the candles during mass.
All right.
That I had that
Yeah.
impulse to do
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But it really, for me, it really started during the pandemic, or just before the pandemic. I'd say 2019. I was having these. It started slowly and then became more prominent, more that I couldn't ignore it. These sensory experiences where I would see, it was geometry, interesting combinations of geometry. It was strange machinery that I had never seen before. Um, and eventually I started seeing eyes. Which scared me at first, that we were talking earlier. And I think
Yeah.
when I saw that some of these eyes were non-human, I screamed out. Like I was very scared at first, but they kept showing up in a way that was not creepy, that
Mhm.
was not scary, and it felt respectful to me. And eventually, I had an experience. I try to give the cliff notes with this because there was more to it but this is sort of the best way I'm going to be able to describe it.
Okay.
I was awake. There was a lamp on in my room, um, and I just kind of closed my eyes, and all of a sudden I felt this like upward lift, this upward movement, and then like it sped up. So I knew something was happening. I was like, but it was like, okay, something's going on. Just try to relax. I'm in my house. I'm laying in my
Yes.
bed. I can see. I'm fine. I'm here. Everything's good. So let's just go with this. But I ended up going forth, and I felt like I was having, like, there was just so much energy in my body. I've said this before, but like I was having 5 energy healing sessions all at once, and eventually I saw like a window, and a like a desert landscape behind the window, and a control panel, and hands on the control panel.
Hmm.
And then I saw other things, but this in it, and then I relaxed even further, and I started hearing this very, like, this music that sort of just lulled me, and the experience continued, that sort of energized, positive, like I was journeying along with some other beings or something. And so that happened, and that was the inspiration. That journey was the inspiration for my first book, which is a middle grade kids sci-fi illustrated story called Flying Saucer Visions.
Oh.
And yeah, and then eventually the eyes kept showing up. I started seeing full faces of beings that would sort of just float in out of my attention, particularly when I would like close my eyes at night to go to sleep. And finally, especially from the coaxing of a teacher that I have, she told me to just confront this, whatever this is, and see what happens. And so I did. I was basically like, okay, what do you want from me? What is it that you're seeking? And what started was, first it started just sort of as a conversation, and then I realized I was able to let this source speak through me and write through me, and that became the foundation, and then became, as it expanded more, so became my upcoming book, which is the N-1 sessions. So that's that's a long journey of how it all came about.
I think it's impressive, and the fact that you don't have any experiences, and all of a sudden, I'm here,
Right. Yep.
and with all
Yep.
my friends, and you're
Yep.
having
That pretty much. Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, Amelia.
Thank you. I'm going to ask a stupid question because all of this is new to me. So my questions might be dumb tonight. So please bear with me because I'm learning a lot about this with Michelle. When you said you saw hands,
Mhm.
did you see human hands?
No, they were not quite human.
What did they look like?
Even though when I would see faces, some of them were. human or human-esque.
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer, maybe a little more glowing.
Little blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe the
Yeah.
color was a little maybe a little purple, but
Wow.
the hands that I saw on the control panel were not human. They were longer
Mm.
and not frightening looking, but maybe a little more claw-like.
Mm.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
can
yeah.
go
Sort of
different
just like
directions.
a little more outstretched. Yeah,
And
they were not quite human.
you said that you had this experience before the pandemic. During the pandemic, without pushing you too forward and pushing you off, I'm just curious, did you find that your experiences increased?
Yes. I'd say the visions, seeing the geometry and the other strange objects that started probably 2019. They really revved up when
Oh, tell us about that.
when the pandemic kicked in. Yeah,
Yeah, tell us about that.
yeah, yeah. That's when they started to get to the point that I uh, became a little concerned, like what
Mm.
the heck is going on with me, like, and I went and talked to this energy healing teacher that I had, and she said, well, just don't be scared, just try to confront it. And yeah, it just became like they wouldn't leave me alone. It just became undeniable.
Mm.
um
Do you think it's because they had messages, like they were just trying to
I
get through
think
to you,
so,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
push you into to listening?
I think so, yeah.
Hmm.
And I did.
Yeah, and I did,
I
and
did.
here we are. So,
Yeah.
I mean, which race or species, as you say, were the first to come forward who you started to communicate with
Well,
initially?
the voice immediately told me, you can call me N-1. And
Mm.
N-1, I came to learn, is, as I'm told in this material, is the leader of this collective, so to speak. And N-1 actually is a Sirian
Okay.
being, but has now sort of relocated to the outskirts of Orion. In this, even though they live in a realm that's mostly non-physical, that this group is mostly made up of beings from Sirius and Orion, but also beings from other places as well.
Right, like
Yeah,
multidimensional.
yeah, and that they have the ability to sort of shift in and out of different dimensions as
Hmm.
well. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, that
different
would make
densities. Yeah.
sense. That would make sense. So have you asked yourself, like, because I mean, you have to ask yourself, like, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why am I the guy? I've never had these experiences before that I'm aware of. And all of a sudden, here you are badgering me.
Mhm.
And we're having conversations that you're still trying to figure out if you're comfortable with or not, or where they're going, or you're getting beamed up. Like, what's.
Yeah, yeah. I have a feeling several possibilities have crossed my mind, but I have a feeling it had something to do with that. Very simply, that I was available, that I wasn't distracted by like trying to take care of I don't have any kids, I
Yeah.
would
It's like a
I don't.
dating app. I think it's more than that. I think it's a little bit more than that.
I guess you could say I had some free time on my hands, but I think it also, because my background is film and theater, that I would this experiences that I would want to take it and turn it into something. So that was also a very strong possibility with me, and perhaps I have some connection uh, with this
Mm.
civilization, this group from
Mhm.
some existence, but I don't have any proof of that. I'm not sure about that.
So the Orion Contingent, humanity's galactic neighbors. Can you tell
Yes,
us about that?
yes. That this is a group that, and it goes their perspectives on life and the cosmos and the universe. They're sort of cosmic monks, I'd say. They're explorers, sort of a combination of archaeology and astrology and philosophy, and they're interested in many things, and they're sort of investigators. And they like to create different things to help help different species. And this is described in the N-1 sessions as well. Made up of different beings, but that they have been involved with our planet sort of behind the scenes, starting a long time ago, and still are, perhaps visiting and every once in a while, I guess you'd say. And they're concerned about things like ecology, and very interested in non-physical or partially physical particles that exist near power spots like the pyramids or like Stonehenge, or in order to create things with that, and perhaps things that could help us as well.
Well, I find it so interesting because you have, especially experiencers who are lifelong experiences per se,
Yeah.
will say, well, no, they can't interfere. And
Yeah.
then, so when I read something, like what you're describing, is it's like they really are concerned and are trying to I guess the maybe shift us into a different way
Yes,
of
yes.
thinking.
I think that is true, that they
Gentle.
are not here to interfere,
Yeah.
but they can. I think that there any sort of quarantines or rules to say don't mess with this race, they're still evolving, are slowly being lifted. And so they're not here to interfere, but to just start having more of a direct conversation, that perhaps we're on the brink of being ready to looking at ourselves as interdimensional beings, and having abilities that might not be terribly different, even though it's something we'll have to develop from these beings in the greater cosmos.
It's like the prime directive.
Yeah.
I think they feel sorry for us, and they're trying not to intrude with all the destruction that we're creating.
If they felt sorry for us, I think they'd come and get us.
Right. Well, they're not gonna,
Yeah.
they're definitely not gonna try to save us. But they also describe how some of this destructiveness, some of this violence in this realm that we live in, it's some of it is due to forces sort of puppeteering it. And yes, that we're responding, we're taking the bait, but and that there are ways to overcome that there are ways to move into balance and not be as malleable as perhaps we are right now.
Yeah, you might have to stay offline to do that.
Yeah, that's a good start. Yeah, I think that's a good start. Yeah.
Because of
not
all
to
the
become a
psyops.
Luddite, but just to know that maybe we get more affected by our technology than we realize.
That's been something ongoing. I mean, some of the greatest minds have said, avoid AI. And here we are. Hello, AI. And, everybody's like getting right in on then you make it fun. And so it's easy to, I personally just, I don't have use for that kind of technology. But one day there's a lot of people like that who are going to be faced with it, because it's going to be everywhere. You're not going to be able to go back to the old ways, So basically this the Orion Contingent is basically the group that are, I guess, your collaborators trying to help us move forward and toward galactic citizenship. Is there a galactic community?
Yes, that is a possible. In the N-1 sessions, a galactic community is definitely described, and that there's quite a diversity of galactic communities, and perhaps there is leadership in the whole existence through different beings who exist in different dimensions of being and different types of worlds. But and this is described in the material a bit, but yeah, so you just said so many things that you triggered thoughts in me. And
Go crazy, Chris.
with the AI, it's just not that it could be something that could help us tremendously eventually, but we must be cautious, that it's just happening too fast, and perhaps we're not moving into it with a lot of mindfulness, of what could start to snowball with things like AI. That perhaps, and this has been some of the newer sessions that have been coming through. They've been telling me to look at it more, that it's, even though it doesn't, that it eventually it will be a consciousness of its own. It isn't really that yet, but like eventually that we'll have to respect that and know the tremendous possibilities of it, and also the dangers of it. So that's been coming through in some of these newer sessions that I've been having.
Like a child at the helm of a nuclear reactor.
Kind of, yeah.
Never ends well.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I think we're a species that are, quite accustomed. We have become quite accustomed to throwing caution to the wind. And, because we've been conditioned, I believe, to, in many, many different levels, to be just like, no, it's okay, we've got you. And then you fall flat on your face and go, wait a minute, I thought you had me.
Yeah. That's that's something, and I think this is great that we're now, we can like, okay, we need to re-examine everything, pretty much, like sort of like starting with it from a clean slate, like everything that we create our realities from our thoughts, and also our actions, and our vibrational being. So that's so cool, but there's also a huge responsibility.
Kind of feels like the Spider-Man thing.
Right.
With great strength and power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, we laugh, but really it's true. So I mean, it comes down to evolution, awareness, awakening, enlightenment. Those are probably the 4 elements to getting to where they need us to be. So one of the things, of course, that I was curious about in the book was the great quarantine of Earth. I mean, I'm glad to hear it's like ending, but some of us have referred to good old planet Earth as a prison planet. I hear that a lot. So what can you describe to us what they told you about this quarantine? For how long? Why was it put in place? Are we just bad kids?
Yeah, I think that
I love that.
well, yeah, it's that's that's a really good question. When exactly when it was put into place is a good question, because there's all these stories in different, like cultures, indigenous cultures, about star ancestors being here and communicating with us, working with us, teaching us, and everything. And then all of a sudden, somewhere around like the Bronze Age, there was some change that happened. So part of me, and it talks about this, that in the N-1 sessions, in the material, it talks about that, yes, at some point a quarantine was put on this planet to basically like, okay, nobody's gonna mess with this race anymore, because they're getting into hot water, so we got to let them evolve in their own way, and without any interference, I guess. But yeah, so when that happened is a really interesting question.
Yeah,
I think
I think why, because I mean, we can't be the only new kids on the block within all of these universes, the galaxy, whatever the case may be. I mean, there have to be others, especially when you're dealing with different multi-dimensions. I mean, we could be living different existences at the same time, if you're thinking multiverse and things like that, like John Keel, but there has to be somebody like
Dr. Strange.
Yeah.
Dr. Strange.
If they were allowed to interfere or nudge us a little bit, like, wouldn't we be a little bit further ahead? Because it seems there's a lot of people on this planet that seem to be benefiting from that interference a little bit.
Right. From the negative interference, you mean? Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Well, that perhaps that is perhaps that's the big war that's going on. That's the big problem right now in this world, and
Mhm.
with many different sort of forces, sort of um,
Mm.
trying to win us over,
Yes.
or like get our attention, so to speak. Um, yeah, and I think that they have these beings have been trying to get to us for a long time, and I think I see it in through like through history, through like waves of great breakthrough, like like Plato, like the
Yeah.
Stoics, the Renaissance artists, like Shakespeare, like
Da
Mozart,
Vinci.
like the Chinese sages. Like I see that, yeah, that perhaps some of those great teachers, or great
Mm.
artists or writers or whatever, perhaps they have star roots as well. So
Yeah.
that's how they've been working with us, sort of like directly and indirectly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, which is, I think they still do that. I think many different races still do that today through experiencers, just
Mhm.
trying to, give out certain information and help people reach their potential,
Mhm.
for to
You're
just
you're probably doing it right now. It's. I mean, we don't know what your origins are either, so
Mm,
that's interesting too.
I have my suspicions. But no, for sure. I mean, I think we all have our paths here. I mean, you think about yourself, it's like furthest thing from your mind, and yet
Yeah.
here we
Oh
are.
my God. And interesting enough, during the time that all this went down, and then of course, then the pandemic was thrust upon all of us. My personal life was just in utter shambles too. I mean, I was the least ideal human being walking around. I was not anything special. I mean, I was someone who, I was not somebody who I don't think I appeared particularly evolved on any level.
Well, maybe somebody thought you were worthy of being evolved.
Somebody somewhere, yeah,
Obviously.
maybe they did.
It's your
Yeah.
path because it's that same bit of the comments and sense of or the joke that goes around. It's like we sort of get thrown in here with no memory and say you
Yeah.
have to learn from the last time. That's why you're here. And you're like, I can't remember. It doesn't count. I
Right.
didn't
No,
get it
I
the
know
first time,
that's tough, isn't it? Having to
right?
do that every time. But
Well,
I
you
guess
don't
that's
know.
part of
Like
the
maybe,
game. Yeah.
yeah, like maybe it was part of your journey then, and you kind of got slapped back down here and said, okay,
Yeah.
be
Then we get to
serious
start
now.
over. Then we get to start over. So it might be too painful to remember.
Too painful, yeah, or maybe you just didn't take it seriously, and they're just like gonna give you a
Yeah.
spanking, put you back in there, and say, "All right, stop messing around." I don't know, like, we don't know what our paths are, and sometimes
Right.
we're lucky enough to figure it out while we're here. Other times, we're just still trying to figure it out. We just go off onto the next leg of the journey when we leave here, and then the next thing you know, it's like a revolving door. It's like, what?
But how, if there's like multiple of us in all these multi universes, how does that work for a squirrel?
For a
She's trying
squirrel.
not to laugh. That's me. That's why. Can you imagine me and 10 of me?
Oh, right. If there are, right. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? That's like that really messes with my mind thinking about that, like
Yeah.
the whole, like, yeah, like that time and space and dimensions and other selves and squirrels.
It's
And
hard.
yeah, yeah, it's amazing to sort of try to wrap my mind around it. But that's it's pretty cool.
Wayne says, I think when you're at your lowest point and when you also have the least amount of distractions, you become more open and receptive to messages that originate from outside the norm.
That could be. I think because I was in that whole thing, not to make it like I was available. I think, I mean, and I did. The thing is, I did have some training in this. I had some training in like psychic work, or mediumship and things like that. But I think because of that, yeah, I was at one of my lowest points, and somehow it opened me up to other worlds.
Yeah.
And it's been interesting talking to some other experiencers who have shared similar things to, like, after a big breakup or something,
Mhm.
like there was an emotional crisis going on, and all of a sudden I opened up to something, some other realm,
Hmm.
so it was sort of a relief to hear that is maybe sometimes how it happens.
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah,
You
Did it
know.
scare you?
it did at first. It did at first, but then it instead of going into defense, if I would have gone into like freak out defense mode, I might have driven myself crazy, and I might have
Mhm.
like gone to a psychiatrist and gotten on some really strong drugs or something.
Hmm.
But I didn't freak out. Thank God for my teacher, Elaine, who told me not to just relax, and because when I was able to relax, then I wasn't scared anymore.
It's a really big deal.
Yeah, it's what?
It's just a really big deal
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be
yeah,
entrusted with this sort of information, to be able to take it, absorb it, put
yeah,
pen to paper, so to speak, and to
yeah.
come out and talk about it. Baby, this is the main part of your journey is now you've received the messages. Now you have to relay the messages. So maybe they are, I won't say interfering, but maybe they are giving us this nudge through people like yourself.
That feels right. Yeah, that feels like that it definitely has changed. I mean, I'm different now. The focus of my life is different. I'm thrilled that that the books are out, that this new book is coming out, and because it's a sense of like, okay, the first part. Whoa,
Yep.
sorry, the phone
And
just
you're back.
flew. The
Right.
That's okay.
the phone just flew
You're
across the
wearing
room.
pants. We're good.
That's all right.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
No, it's
sorry about
funny.
that.
We're just playing with you. It's all
Um,
right.
and but it feels like it's about halfway. It feels like there's like maybe there's another book or something, but
Ah.
yeah,
So you're
Nice.
still getting messages then?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
So then there's going to be another book,
something, yeah,
something, documentary.
yeah. Oh, that could be cool.
That could be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
That
yeah.
could
If
that could probably.
books are like changing, so I gotta find the best way to maybe an ebook, maybe another book. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
People who love to read like
Maybe
paper.
a documentary.
We like to smell the books.
Yeah,
I love
Okay,
books.
so the Great Quarantine is ending. So when you say ending, this collective, I guess, have decided. Who decides? Like whoever decided to put it all in place. Who decides? You know what? We think the kids are ready.
that's a
Let's
good
just.
question. I'm not exactly sure about that. Maybe there's some sort of, galactic federation or something. Maybe there's sort
What
of
they
a
say.
council of all
Yeah.
the different races, all the different star races. Who that I kind of am comforted by that idea.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure, but I think that there's some forces that be, or uh, some United Nations kind of thing out
Yeah.
there of
Like
More
a
like
federation.
military federation, not government.
right,
Yeah.
right, yeah, yeah.
That I can handle that.
Yeah. Which I guess, comes down to being at peace
Yeah,
and being at peace with yourself, which is
yeah,
right.
and that is a being at peace with acceptance.
Mm,
That's a theme that came through in the N-1 sessions as well. Is that's the start, that accepting anything that doesn't, like, anything about myself that seems imperfect or a mess, but just during the pandemic, this was like a really, I think it was the easy thing to access, just to be, just to sort of welcome, I'm okay as I am, starting with this. And because there was just a lot of space for, not
well, you
having
were
to.
forced to look at
You're
yourself,
forced to, yeah, yeah, you're
in a
forced
way.
to.
And it was a time where it's a time of reflection. You had a lot of
Yeah,
time to do it.
yeah, and during that time of reflection, to just in the next, maybe the next step is just to accept myself as an interdimensional being, for everyone, for
Mm.
everyone to do this, that, like, to accept ourselves as not just a body, not just a head walking around on a body that has to, work so long and then earn a 401k and retire,
Oh,
like
it's
to
so
not
crazy.
get trapped in that kind of
Mhm.
mentality.
That
Life
we're
is too
bigger than
short.
that.
Yeah.
That we're bigger
We're
than
bigger
that.
than that. I always say, like, we're this incredible. We are these energy beings of light having a human experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
And
more than
science,
just. Sorry.
yeah, science. That's okay. Science are like your body's a machine. You've got all these chakras, and you've got to tap in. And if you breathe this way, or you hum, frequency, our own frequency can heal us. Like
Yeah.
we're unaware of all of this because we've been told that you're just a body. You're on this timeline, this limit.
Yeah, yeah, and that society, the way that our society is structured, but that's crumbling too. Like there's all this shift in, whole thing about people not like we can't get enough people to show up to work kind of thing. Well, to me it just feels like of course you can't.
Yeah.
Everything's changing. Everything is changing so fast. Like they just don't want to come, and I think I get it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
there may be there's a different search for our inner purpose, like why
Mhm.
am I why am I here, why am I, who am I?
Yes. Yes.
Especially when jobs are being decreased because of AI, and that that's your purpose. What happens to people who have a calling for medicine? And like there's so many questions.
So many
Oh
questions.
my gosh, seriously.
Yeah,
Like we're
it
not just our things, and like we've been conditioned to literally live your life because there's a calling, there's there's always
definitely.
something, and then what happens now?
Well, and then the question, will we have to move to just for people to survive of a like a monthly established income for everyone, because
Yeah,
people just won't
UBI.
need to work anymore.
That's
Like
what they're saying.
That's a lot of
And we'll
control,
love
though.
it apparently. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I spent, even time like in school as a child and as a teen, young adult, bored to tears because I already felt somewhere like I'm not supposed to be here. And I know this stuff is boring because I can absorb information like nobody's business. Like I can retain it. I can look at it and go, yep, it's there. And in school, I'd be just like, I don't even remember doing grade 9. I don't think I was ever in grade 9.
I don't remember any of it. I don't remember. I must have along the way. I don't remember ever doing homework, but I must have.
Right? I know.
I passed.
I know.
But
It must have been
I
in
did
school. It
I
happened.
did really well in school, and I hated being there. I felt like I had done this so many times before, and all I kept saying was if I come back again, I do not want to go to high school. Put me past that point.
I want to
'Cause
be a
it's
step
tragic.
in, and I want to do it after graduation. I want to be the step in this time.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's a good. Yeah, that would be a good
Right?
move coming back. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can move. Like
Yeah.
you're not
You're out of school. You can just come back.
It's like,
But I
come
mean,
on
as an
already.
adult now, I kind of think, I love learning. Like I love learning, but I do love doing it at my own pace, and I'm shown what I'm supposed to find. That information is often shown to me, and I just at that point you're more interested in it because you're like, where'd you come from?
Yeah. Yes, and so that like all of this speeding up with everyone, for me it feels like it's where I'm at right now. It's sort of like more about gathering courage to like sort of get to the next place where I can say, okay, this is what I really want to be doing full time. This is, but it's because we have these like our abilities and our natural talents just aren't being utilized in a lot of jobs. It feels like what we're really capable of and what we can really do in effect and to help other people. And I feel that way in different. I think it's shifting for me, but to me it just feels like it's an act of courage to actually just taking full ownership of it. And I'm still working through that a little bit.
I think that's part of humility too, right? You're being humble, and it's not ego. So I think that's a beautiful thing.
Well, good. Yeah, the process. It feels like it's good. Yeah, and I could just use some more not having to not having to be to work at 7:30 in the morning.
That's always a
Yeah,
bonus.
Yeah.
Like, don't we all?
Yeah. Which I have to do sometimes. Sometimes I have to do that.
Yeah.
That
So, I mean,
ungodly hour.
so getting to this point within ourselves, reaching within ourselves and finding that happy place, free of ego, totally awakened, working at it, meditation, being able to work frequencies and so on. And we'll get to the frequencies, but looking at ourselves as a galactic species, humanity and galactic species, somehow through eons of being told otherwise, it's hard to put them in the same sentence.
Yeah. Yeah, like going back to that we're down here and the gods are up there kind of
Yes.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a tough jump for a lot of us, I think, because all those stories and all the myths are still in the back of our mind,
Mhm.
of who we are. Don't try to don't play God.
Yeah.
Don't anger the gods.
Right.
Don't
Right.
or
Wow.
because don't step outside of the bounds
Mhm.
of what you're supposed to do as a human being.
Mhm.
That there's going to
For
be
sure.
repercussions for that. I think those scare tactics are there for a reason.
Yeah. Oh, I believe so. And how much it has been, kept from us with ancient knowledge. I mean, you write about humans sharing a genetic ancestry with off-world beings. People talk about hybridization even now. You can go back to the age-old Anunnaki. We were a part of that. RH negative blood. That's a whole other thing. Like, you could really do a lot of speculation. So,
Yeah.
what were you told about this?
That yes, that as a species, that we share some sort of cellular, some sort of genetic material with star beings, and that perhaps we were sort of seated here. This
Yeah.
is this happens early in the N-1 session. That's just put right on the table. They don't talk about it too much there. It's like, okay, this is what happened. So we have a bunch of other things we want to talk
Let's
about
move
too.
along.
And so like
Elephant
this
in the
is
room.
it's sort of the starting point.
Yeah.
I'd say of the book is sort of like
Yeah.
there was interference from malevolent extraterrestrials. A quarantine was put in. The quarantine is being lifted. Okay,
Right.
so here we go. Now we want to talk to you about some other stuff. So yeah, that is just that. I was told that was just sort of given to me as something like to believe in, to know, and that there's all sorts of theories about that out there too, of researchers and everything. But that yes, we do share ancestry with star beings, and that there are teachers and are, I guess, part of a greater family as well. So even though we're younger, we're like the little brothers and sisters maybe of the universe, but yeah, that we're growing up at the same time.
So this is just like a big playpen.
Yeah, you can view it that way.
It's in the mix, and yes.
Yeah.
But it's funny because our native people, our indigenous people, they were all aware of this. It's like where I got confused when you mentioned quarantine is that there were so many different races of extraterrestrial already here, like the Hopi talk about the ant people, and of course so many different cultures throughout the world talked about reptilians already being here. I mean, heck, some people even talk about, we remember when the moon was brought in, like cultures when the moon was brought into our space. Like,
Wow.
what? Yes,
Wow.
there's writings about it.
Oh,
The day the moon arrived. So I'm thinking
Crazy.
prison planet, space station, Star Wars. This is how, your mind.
I
just
really
kinda
need to watch that film.
No, but that's not in the film per se. Like, but
Oh,
but
okay. Then I
there
don't need
are
to see it.
there are writings about the day that the moon was brought into our orbit.
Incredible.
And
I
it's
know.
not the
So
vernacular that it's just that's the
it's
way.
a thing.
Wow.
So when you say lift the quarantine, I'm like, but you quarantined us with a bunch of baddies. No, they weren't all bad. No, I mean, the ant people. I mean, even reptilians in southern Peru helped the people during when cataclysm arrived. much like the Hopi and the Ant people. So there's stories of this all over the place. So if that's what we were quarantined against, with having these other beings coming in and manipulating us, I think we were kind of stuck with them in quarantine.
Well, yeah. Well, in perhaps that there are certain races who are just not going to respect,
Yes.
rules or quarantines or
Yeah.
treaties or anything like that. That they're going to do what they want to do regardless.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. Okay, let's get down to basics. The real extraterrestrial agenda. Cooperation, not control. That's a big
Yes.
one. That's a big one.
That in the N-1 sessions, it talks about that there's a vast, but even though there may be some influencers with not great intentions, but that the vast majority of races, civilizations, species out there, and whether they're physical, non-physical, that exist, that they're mostly just evolved and perhaps more mature than we are,
Yeah.
that they have good intentions and they have they live without much of the conflict that we live with. And like you said, maybe there are other worlds that are sort of at the same level we are, or maybe still less evolved than we are too. Maybe that's out there as well. But that there's a lot of support, and that we can tap into.
So
and
don't
we
fear.
can- So don't fear. Yeah.
I'm petrified.
I know. I think a lot of people are, and I understand. I think a lot of people, and I think the more that we talk about this stuff, there's going to be more people like that are just going to be utterly terrified of this conversation. But it's something we can move into at our own at our own pace. So it's just something that we can. The conversation we can start having, and then we can come back to if we need to. If we need a break, we can take a break.
I made
And
the
then we can
mistake
come
of
back.
watching The Fourth Kind.
I saw. I remember that movie. I enjoyed that movie. It was sort of a
It's a good
mockumentary,
movie,
was
yeah.
it?
Mockumentary. I
It was
swear
made
it's
to
real.
look like one, yeah, but it was a really well made
Yeah,
film.
that was an interesting. Yeah, whoever
Pretty
put that
damn
hours.
together.
realistic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Put
was
her at the end of the
cool.
film as herself reading that. Come on, it can't be fake.
Right,
Hidden in
couldn't
plain
sleep.
sight, all the way
right,
to
right.
space, man. Right.
That was a good one. I enjoyed it. I'm real sick of like the Aliens franchise. I'm sick of this like
Yeah.
invasion take over your body thing. Is what I think that's played itself out
Yeah.
a little bit.
I think they do it on purpose to instill fear in you, so you don't
Right.
communicate.
So that we're scared of anything,
Yes.
anything
Yes.
that's
Project
out there.
Bluebeam. I'm sorry. It's still
Right.
happening.
Right. And so I love Close Encounters though as well.
That was
I think
good.
that was
That was
a
That
good.
was a
classic.
good film.
I think Spielberg stuff is usually pretty interesting.
Yes.
Mhm.
Too,
Spielberg
so
himself is pretty interesting.
yeah,
Yes, he is.
You know, like he's a character, but a lot of times people like that have experiences. Gene Roddenberry, same idea.
yeah.
You know,
And
he did
George, well, in
channeling.
Star Wars, it's there are many people who believe, I think I'm one of them, that it's basically the story of Orion,
Yeah.
So how about that? George Lucas.
Well, he was said to be a time traveler too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get into some of these, where some of these films come from, Gene Roddenberry allegedly participated in channeling sessions to the Council of Nine, which told him do Star Trek.
Right, I read that somewhere. Yeah, that.
It's
There's sci-fi writers. There's this connection with metaphysical things. I think that's. I like that. And there's a lot of metaphysical sci-fi too, which is incredible. Yeah.
And they always end well, right? Don't they?
No.
No.
Not always.
I can't watch Star Trek either.
No.
Okay.
So I mean, getting into consciousness. We are all, like I say, we are one. right? We are one. We are you, you are us, we are one consciousness. We have so much, I guess, coming from the outside with negative emotions, thought forms, everything going into our collective consciousness.
Mhm.
And then we sit there and we ask ourselves, well, why? Why do we feel the way we do? Why do we feel this heavy darkness? Why do we feel this, this like we're being dominated? It's just like where do you start leaning towards the light? Like how do you filter out that negative bombardment from people who do this for maybe control, to keep
Right.
us from reaching out, or for them reaching out to us?
That's a great question, and it feels to me in just going back to that whole thing of being at peace is the true start. That coming back to that source within, just coming back to in knowing that some of those things you just described, that heaviness, that darkness, those that overwhelming, that encroachment,
Mm,
that a lot of that is not you, it's not me. It's
mhm,
that's not us, and that's some other, through these thought forms, through these ideas that come through, they can, magnify, and then our minds get involved in everything too. It feels like just coming back to that restful source is for me, that's all I can do is try to remember that, especially
mm,
with all this in this oh my god, I say that, I sit here and say that, but with all the political things going on in this country, you should see me screaming at the TV or my phone, at a regular basis too. So I get hit just as much as everyone, and I fall off the bicycle just as much as everyone. But just remembering that, coming back to that, and that there's so many tools now to experience the other side, which is the
mm,
expansiveness,
mhm.
in the
Yeah.
light. Just coming back to that, and in being vigilant during crazy times like the ones that we're living in.
Yeah, so many psyops.
Well, the
Yeah,
thing is, it's a ripple effect too.
yeah, yeah.
For every action, there's a reaction. So you
Mm,
react, you do something, it just, we
yeah.
attract the
Yeah.
attention of some of these beings because
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't always play nice in the sandbox.
Look at the anger
Right.
just
Um,
on social media, you know?
Oh my God, yes.
mm,
It's
That's
very volatile.
it's working in the dark's favor though, so
Absolutely.
you have to. I always say, why can't you scroll past something and just not say anything? I don't get it. i
Right.
don't get I don't
mm,
get it at all. I don't
Well, and
understand
it's
it.
just like with that, like it just, what I'm trying to do now is just not engage, because
Yeah,
like, okay, so you get this energy, this volatile, and you don't know what it's is the technology magnifying it as well, and what we don't know what each individual is going through on a mental and emotional level.
we don't know if they're
And
real.
we don't know if they're real, and we don't
No.
know if one is real and it's triggering other people.
Yeah,
So
just let it go.
you get this crazy knotted thing, in that are there energies that feed on that,
of course
is
there
the
is.
next question.
Yeah. Well,
God.
that's going to be my question to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
These lower astral beings, like
yeah,
realms.
yes, yes. Like how much of this is um it set up in a certain way for
Mm-hmm.
these parasitic beings to feed on?
It's,
That is a
oh
legitimate
my gosh.
question, I
You
think.
just
Yeah.
reminded me of Dr. Gadsad because he wrote The Parasitic Mind.
Oh,
He's
Mm,
phenomenal. You would love him.
oh wow. What's his name?
Dr. Gad, GADSAAD. He's got his own
Okay.
YouTube channel. You'll love him. There's a
Okay.
lot
Check
of
him out.
former CIA operatives that are talking about the Matrix and psyops right now.
Really?
And I'm just like dumbfounded. I mean, I don't believe everybody, but one I do take a class from on Fridays, and I'm just in shock when I see someone who was an operative and taught and all of this, and now is speaking about mind control and MK
There's
Ultra, and
patents for all of it, and you can
yeah.
find it. I have found it.
Oh, he's like he just, it's like coming out of his mouth. You're just like someone who follows the military law and has an like, I just was shocked when I was listening to him the first time.
Wow.
Like, you have got to be kidding me. This
It's
is
all
coming
out
from
there.
you. Like, you're a genius. You're up here in behavioral analysis. Like, you're, oh my gosh, like, just, it makes you feel like you're not going crazy.
Wow.
You know?
That's so cool. It's so excellent that there's so many people coming out with this material now, and there's so much, like, it's just, we have to remember that too, that there's so much support and inspiration in written in books and written form, and people write blogs, and there's courses and tools and everything too. It just feels like it does feel like a renaissance to me of people like the guy you're talking about.
My favorite time. I will share his name with you after.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I would love to check
I
that
was
out.
just so surprised, but like I said, it gave me that feeling. But this isn't about me. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, had coffee today.
no,
Still
that's
bouncing. I went off of it for a while. Now it's like, "Ugh," when I have it.
Well, I mean, yeah, there are patents for all of that. They're very easy to find, right down to, and again, this is something you talk about in your book, frequency. Using frequency.
use it about frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is vibrational frequency is in the material in the N-1 sessions as well. It's talked about a lot in that this isn't. I always feel like I have to be careful talking about this because it's not about like putting myself on some like pedestal above everything else. Oh, I don't touch chocolate, or I don't touch coffee or things like that, because I certainly do. And that just like coming again, that stopping and remembering, taking a breath and remembering who we are in our truest of selves, that raises our frequency in the moment. And so that's again the start, but there's all sorts of tools right now. And at the end of the N-1 sessions, there is a series of exercises too that is sort of designed to sort of get that moving a little bit more with frequency, with energetic particles, with healing, with sort of sifting out the gunk in our lives that we don't need anymore. And all that helps, I think, too. Just aligning with, for me, it feels like just aligning with my best, what feels the best to me, that the service that I can be, the whatever I can do or be involved in, that feels in alignment to me, and just that we can trust ourselves to find that. It's not doesn't have to be huge rocket science or anything.
No,
I think deep down we know what that is.
Yeah.
So being aligned with that inner thing, that's a good way, I think, to start raising our frequency.
Way you put that. Yeah. Alignment, like your car.
Yeah, like
it's off. It's off, right?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about, I mean, all of that. We have to sort of start letting go of the physical, the attachments. That's really hard. But for some things, I personally love chairs, really old ones.
Shoes.
Yeah.
So not letting go of Jimmy Choo anytime soon.
I'm kidding. No, I'm not. But I mean, it's not. It's
no, she's not.
but letting go of the physical and the point of view, so to speak, and being grateful, because you make mention of being grateful to the one for everything, whereas we have points of view. And when you talked about that, I kind of went, yeah, everybody's got a point of view about something.
Yeah. Right? Strong belief systems. Yeah, holding on to that stuff causes a lot of volatility and everything. And what we have to remember, I think this is present in the N-1 sessions too, is that we live in a physical world, so we're allowed to experience physical abundance. So you can enjoy your chairs. I can enjoy my, my chocolate, my coffee, and trips out to expensive restaurants if I can scrape the money together. And it's but we can't take it with us either. So
That's true.
we can enjoy it, but not be. I think we can enjoy it without becoming too attached to it. To know
Yeah.
that like it's not gonna, it's ephemeral. You know, it's not not gonna stay. So
And is that the key, just to even being able to communicate with some of these races that are just so far removed from pretty much everything on this planet, aside from maybe nature, because it was part of, the creation, far removed from us because they're trying to evolve us. Like we get locked down for all this time, and it's like, okay, kids, we're going to remove all this, and we're going to let you guys now. We're going to share information with you. Meanwhile, we're like, duh, we've been down here for how long? Just, it's really a hard pill to swallow. It really is.
yeah. Well, something you said was really interesting. Like, yes, it is like the key to being able to communicate. For me, it certainly is like just not being attached. Not being, and definitely not being attached to certain beliefs, to certain visions of what reality is. And some of that might be connected with religious upbringing or
Education.
other upbringing, other education, and everything too.
Everything.
But to start with a clean slate, and every time I do a session with these beings, it's important for me to try to start with a clean slate too. And I think there's many people who are able to do that as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think it brings you closer to trying to remember who you are. I often hear that, and I'll often say it to people. I've said it to Amelia a million times. Remember who you are.
Oh my gosh, she's my biggest cheerleader. Yeah, that's why I love her so much. Well, that and 100 other things, but yeah.
But that's a big one. Remembering who we are, where we come from.
You forget in this world. It's so
We
materialistic.
touched on that for sure. Yeah. But that's a big thing for them, right? Remembering who we are and reconnecting to our cosmic family, connecting to the earth, which I do a lot of light work and energy work for the planet and consciousness and things like that. So for me, that part is easy. Remembering who I am, that's 50-50 kind of.
It's hard because there's so many lives.
Right. But it is hard, and I have my moments too where I feel kind of small,
Yeah.
at the same time. But it's there I go again.
That's okay. I really love your pink color. I'm just saying, like, you have great style.
There we go.
Okay. Right. I once lost the entire laptop, my light, and a fan.
I try to do this on a phone because I think it might look a little better. So it's not the computer.
It's a great picture. Like I said, I love your wall color.
You're among friends. You're fine.
It's great picture.
Yeah.
We have a bigger audio audience, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So So you were saying connecting to our cosmic family, remembering who we are.
Yeah. That it's. I think it's easier. It's easy to forget, but it's also easy to remember. Is what I think is the good news, and just resting in silence and stopping this mental clatter that's going on, and feels to me to be a great start, and then we will that's how I start to remember when and I think that's a great way to start to remember. Everything will start coming through if we can just turn off the cell phone for a while, have a little media fast, and stop all this stimulation that we're constantly being bombarded by, and just rest in silence and clear our minds, ground ourselves too. And that's a great start. And I think we'll start remembering, like our higher intelligence starts to flip on.
I'm gonna kill my daughter. Sorry. she's on bypass. I can't turn her off.
So looking, I mean, the fact again, as we move along, chapter 14 speaks about, no, we are free souls and we need to go exploring deeper realities. And that's the word reality that sort of had this little question mark going up saying, I have a question. Realities. Are we in a simulation? Is this a matrix? Why do we have to explore realities? Are we not in our reality?
No, I feels to me like we're in a reality. I don't think that's what I think that we're in a reality, but there are other realities we can explore, that we can go to, and that we can know that the reality that we're living in is nuanced and also perhaps not as it appears 100% because of that interference we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And there might be several kinds of interference, going on in this thing. That simulation, that's an interesting concept, like that whole thing about we're living in a simulation. And I do think there is some like frequency control, some sort of interference going on in this world that we're living in. But this is an interesting thing about what they might call the malevolent forces.
Yes.
The malevolent alien forces. It seems to me that they're always pretending to be more powerful than they really are. So the fact that they can create a simulation for us and stand back and watch us in a snow globe, they might get off on that idea that they're these masters of the universe controlling of that, and it might not be. They might not quite have that power at the same time. So that's just something to be aware of, I think.
Do we think it's something along the lines of a projection of thought? It's almost like projecting how they want you to see them. This is what I really look like, but meanwhile, it's not what you look like, but it's a projection of that thought.
Yeah.
And is our reality? Could it be a projection of thought or?
Yeah, that feels like that is a good description.
Yeah.
Like a projection of thought.
Yeah.
But that we have, if we are in some kind of a simulation, that we have the option or the ability to exit, at least temporarily, if we choose to, and that's through developing these abilities, developing our ESP, developing these abilities to sort of astral project into the universe and back and visit other places while staying grounded here in this world. Like is science can't really track this sort of
they claim to.
They're trying to some of them are starting. It's starting to happen, but it's starting to happen. But as it happens more, I think that we'll start to take these practices a little more seriously. And
now the science is saying your dream means that you were just off in another world somewhere, another dimension, having an experience. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That
we travel when we sleep.
Yes.
And I think I've felt that, I've felt that's the sensation of that.
Well, it's like if the essence is what makes up the individual, right? The body is just, it's the physical, it's here. We live in a physical place. We have to get around, but it's like a car. So if you park the car in the garage at night, you're going to sleep in your car in the garage, or are you going to park it? You know what I mean? Like you go to bed, like you're just going to lay there. No, I think you're going to just let yourself go and say, all right, meat suit's got to sleep. We're just going to go off and go home or go to work.
Yeah. And I don't know, you probably felt that feeling of just waking up and you went to a really, really good place. It just felt like you stepped right out of like the warmest sauna or something. And when I feel that, I was like, ooh, I went someplace really like high vibration,
Yes.
Like
and come back and come out tired.
Morning. Yeah, and then I remember the density that I'm living in.
Work day. Take me back. Yeah. It gets kind of wonky like that. But I mean, realistically, though, remembering who we are, the spiritual dimension, very important. Infringement from other realms is a curiosity to me. So who does the infringing? Like where
Well,
are the
in
baddies?
the N-1 sessions, it said there's more than one. There's more than
Yeah.
one group. Whether they work in cahoots or not, or whether
Yeah.
they work independently, might be. Are there groups of reptilians who do this? This seems to be a theme in a lot of work, and that yes, there are perhaps some in the material. It speaks to that a little bit, that there are certain groups of
Mm.
of uh, not so admirable beings along those lines, and not just them. There are others too. So it could be a combination of forces
Mhm.
um, who might mess with us in different ways.
Mm. But
Um,
but according to some of your messages in your sessions, that there are some good reptilians.
yes, that in some of them are part of this collective, and that there is a whole race of reptilian and also amphibian beings
Mhm.
who are native to this galaxy, and that they are uh, a benevolent race,
Mm.
a very advanced race of beings too. So we can't judge. We can't be a. There was a meme going around that says, "Don't be a spacist." So we can't be spacists. We can't automatically judge
Oh
a
boy.
book by some kind of cover.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So reptilian is a reptilian, but again, apples and oranges with some of the races, like
Right.
anything. Bad people.
Right, and that makes it hard because it makes things not so black and white. But I
Yes.
guess that's I guess we're moving into a more complex. We're gonna have to process things at a more nuanced, complex level moving forward.
Yes. Yes. So the Pleiadians and the Project Earth, what have your messages from the Pleiadians been like?
Well, and it's not so much been from the Pleiadians. There is a they talk about them. The
Okay.
Orion Contingent talks about them with great respect and
Yes.
great regard. And you were talking earlier about some of those uh races that the Hopi were aware of, that the
Yes. The ant
different
people.
like
Yeah.
who were the shining giants? That's a good
The
question. Was
shining
there,
ones.
you know,
Yeah.
the shining ones? Yeah, were those the Pleiadians? I think that's an interesting
Mhm.
question to ask, or maybe some other
Mhm.
beings who appeared in our literature. Like was it the Pleiadians? And that they are sort of, along with the material describes that the Pleiadians are sort of the leaders of this project Earth, that perhaps they were some of our original teachers.
Mm.
And a lot of I believe, and I don't want to say anything if I'm not totally sure, but I believe that many indigenous tribes, they have an affinity with the Pleiades too.
Mhm.
You know, like I think the Cherokee. I could be wrong about that, but I believe the Cherokee, and that they feel that they come from the Pleiades as well.
Mm.
So yeah, there is this, that they are sort of, the Pleiadians are perhaps moving forward. They will continue to be some of the leaders, sort of influencing us. There are several people who channel them. I'm There's a channeler, a Pleiadian channeler, who I have a lot of respect for. She's mentioned in the book. W J Ken. She goes by the name Ken Ra. I believe it's Pleiadianfamily.net. I believe is her
Mm.
website. I'm very inspired by her messages about the
Yeah.
Pleiadians.
Very
You
Yeah.
know,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah. I
They
love
feel
that.
like light though.
yeah. 5D light beings.
Yeah.
Human though, mostly human. So we galactic human, like that,
Mhm.
we human souls, that we it's easy for us to connect with them and to feel their transmissions perhaps.
Thank
Mhm.
you, Kathy. So the
Yes.
Navajo and the Lakota.
I truly believe that most indigenous communities all over the world are strongly connected, to ET or to
Yeah.
ethereal beings, because the ancients emulated what they saw, whether they feared it, whether they respected it. If you go
Right.
and look at all of this ancient, these petroglyphs, you look at hieroglyphs, just look at all this cave art, these carvings, these monuments, all you've got to do
Yes.
is look at them and go, okay, so this is a thing,
Yeah, and some of those cave, I've seen pictures of some of the cave beings as well. Some of those might, because I've seen some of those beings too,
Mhm.
in sort of in meditation or whatever. Some of them might be ET, and some of them might be sort of like extra dimensional, like more non-physical, that you
Mm.
perhaps that the shamans met like on the spirit plane,
Mhm.
as well. So that's an interesting layer
Mhm.
to it as well, I think. Yeah.
Oh, it definitely is, because I mean these stories have been, oral history throughout the different, civilizations, ancient
Yeah.
civilizations throughout the world. I mean, there's usually always some sort of mention of the star people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredibly detailed.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there wasn't. So that's that what went on. So that's and then the Bronze
Yes.
Age came in and the Romans came. Like it's
Yes.
interesting chain of events.
There's ancient artwork throughout, even the medieval times, that you look at it and you see depictions of crafts and
Yeah.
ET right
Oh,
in these
yes. Oh,
paintings.
yeah. Well, and I
You know.
think some of these artists had an awareness, and perhaps they were in societies that discussed these things,
Yes.
as
It's all
well.
there.
Yeah.
It,
Beautiful paintings of like
yeah.
the ones I'm thinking about. I think I know what you're talking about.
The crucifixion of Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, right? That
Yeah.
one, that was
Yeah.
incredible painting. There's
Yeah.
one with one of the popes of the time, and he's sitting with a
Yes.
reptilian.
Yes.
That one.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. Da
Yeah.
Vinci had all kinds of them. Now, Da
Hmm.
Vinci had an experience where he disappeared in a cave for something like 2 weeks. And the man was like brilliant, but when he came out, he was more brilliant.
Wow.
That was a life changer for him. And this is when he came out and started doing just the really wild stuff that he was known
Oh,
for.
his exhibit is phenomenal.
Yeah. So I mean, how many? I mean, experiencers, you learn. Even the Gnostics, they knew how to read the stars. They knew there were beings from the stars. Like, why was our culture just, like I say, quarantined? Like, why were we the ones who were just, didn't get the benefits of all that, or very few did.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. But I think even though like quarantine, but we still had the ability, and there were still societies who knew how to still connect
Yeah.
with the source, So the possibility was still there, even though direct contact maybe wasn't the thing for a while. I'm sort of working this through in my mind, talking it out, but
You have to make a list for questions for your next session.
yeah, right. Yeah, I can always do
Yeah.
that. I do
I
have a
have a
list
question.
going too.
Yes. Louise says, my former wife was Cherokee, and she said they were from the Pleiades.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Cool.
That's a nice validation. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in your opinion, I mean, as we're slowly coming, we have probably about, 10, 15 minutes left. The gist of your sessions, we are looking at a world where messages are coming forward. It's time now for us to have this message. What is it? The galactic community, stop the division. They want to unify us. What is the main message for all of this that you have been experiencing for years?
It's difficult to put it into one sentence, but one thing that really stands out to me is that, or maybe one or two things that stands out to me. The one thing being like, it's okay. There's time. There's time, people. You're okay. There's not an invasion at hand. nor are we going to come to save you. We've got time to work this out. Let's talk about this. And also there's a couple times what N-1 says in the book, just to take ownership of your space heritage. Almost screaming it at, like you're one, you're connected to us. We're not like, we can't, to stop seeing ourselves as either, like just a mass of cells walking around, or that, that either you go to hell or heaven after you die. Like that we can let go of some of these old stories now, and just open ourselves to higher possibilities. So I think that's the basics.
Yeah. Just getting away from division, unification. And what I found interesting was being aware of the false flags, that some of the things you see in the sky will be accurate and others not so much.
Yeah, that there's a mixture of things happening in the perhaps there are military defense experiments going on that that they're not taking ownership of. Yeah, that perhaps this is a thing.
Yes.
And that whether the sightings whether they'll, just because we have more devices that can capture them now too, that might be why they're popping up more too. But that, is this going to increase? How is it going to, which direction is it going to go in? I guess I'm more focused on the interior of the experience. Some people want to see it out in the physical, or in the sky or whatever. But maybe there's a time when the two will come together. And maybe some people are starting to do that already.
I think more and more experiencers are coming forward.
Yes.
Maybe they are having that wake up. I mean, I know I had experiences as a child, and it just sort of went dormant, and it wasn't maybe until 2019, well, no, before that, because I was filming 2017, 2018, things started coming forward. And so it's like it reignited.
Look for me too, looking back, like I see how it was starting actually more around that time too. Like I just didn't know what was happening,
right?
As well. So that's when your experiences kicked in, about 2017. Okay.
But it made me question everything.
Because you were talking about it when we met, 2018. You were already talking about it.
It made me question everything, the connections with everything within that, the metaphysical, the realms of high strangeness, the parallels between not just UFOs and being an experiencer with different races, but the parallels with paranormal experiences, the parallels with encryptids, like everything just goes full circle.
Yeah.
And recognizing all of that, and it makes you realize you're part of something so much greater. It's just bigger than all of us. Like we tend to label things. Everything has a label.
Yeah, we have a that's a tendency, like somehow that perhaps gives us safety to be able to have to label something, and this is the way it is, and this is the way that it always is. But that's not always the case. But I think it's, yes, everything you just said, and that we can start to, even though fear might be present, that we can start to have conversations like this more openly, and without having to be crushed by fear, but without having to be shut down because of fear of the content, and also fear of the reaction, because people have awakening experiences all the time, and then they have to go deal with society and family and everything, and this weird homeostasis can kick in, where like we're kind of wired somehow to not cause a ruckus, to not.
But it's your parents too.
Yeah.
You don't want to go saying that you're.
I know. My parents are both deceased now, but like it's still there, somehow.
Yeah.
But Perhaps this
the
just takes a
family
while
secret.
to work. Yeah, to work through.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, upbringing and conditioning
Yeah.
Especially if you're Christian.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
It's huge.
it's
Yeah.
just something that goes back. I remember doing a lot of public appearances, and I would have elderly people especially come to me because they had a story to tell, but they didn't want any of
yeah.
anybody else to hear it. Especially like I remember being sent by the city of Toronto sent me to do this big
Oh yeah.
talk for at this elderly community. And there's a whole bunch of them, and
Oh, wow.
they would all just stare at each other. No, they didn't want, like, they would wait till everybody was gone, and then they would kind of quietly come over to me, tell me a story, and they'd be looking behind me to make sure nobody could hear them. I'd be just like,
Oh, yeah, they have the biggest gossip community.
Yeah,
They do.
the
I
thing
saw
is,
it with my dad.
they
Yeah.
really did not want anybody hearing their stories, and they had the best stories and the best historical stuff to back it up.
Mm.
So I think a lot of it with us is again, like, where we started off was different types of conditioning, and we live in a world where we are continuously barraged with repetitive rhetoric of taking that focus and keeping us with tunnel vision.
Yeah, yeah. And yes, this is so true. And there's something that there's something that wants to keep us always distracted and always
Yeah.
always sort of miserable, I guess you'd say.
Mhm.
And but I do feel right now that we're finally at the place that we can talk about things like this openly, and there's not I think it's because people can't, there's been so many things happening and so many experiencers
Mhm.
that people can't deny it, that there's some truth behind this now. So you just can't. So I think we can finally talk about it in the open, and that to me is an exciting starting point.
I would agree. And,
Yeah.
like you say in your book, like, these are exciting times. I'm thinking, where? But really, they are exciting times in this age of disclosure, which leaves me with this question. What are your thoughts on disclosure? Because experiencers, like, you don't need proof.
Right.
I don't
To
need
me,
proof. You
it's
don't need proof.
almost already happened. Like
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's in the government probably knows, the governments, not just the United States, probably other other
Yeah,
countries
throughout the
too.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
throughout the world and everything. They know some stuff that they haven't fessed up to,
Mhm.
but I don't think they know everything.
No
And I
way.
think
I agree.
it feels like the disclosure has already happened, kind of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether they admit it or not is another story, but I don't know, whatever. It's kind of irrelevant to me at this stage.
Many of them have come forward, and I don't know why they still won't come out and just say it, because they're whistleblowers
Yeah.
everywhere within their own sects. Like, it's there. But why would you go? I'll leave it with this when it comes to disclosure. Why would you go out of your way to have Blue Beam? Why would you go out of your way to try to hide stuff? Like, why, if you already didn't know?
Right. And if the government were to come forth and say, yes, this happened in New Mexico, and yes, there was a crash or whatever, or
Yeah.
whatever that they're going to say, will there be a societal breakdown? I don't know at this stage of the game. I'm not sure.
I think it depends what part of the world you live in.
Yeah. And what different communities within different,
Yes, if you're coming from the 7th century on the other side, you might take it. They might take it better than we do. Who knows?
if you think that the world is flat, yeah, for sure, yeah.
You're in for a rude awakening. Yeah.
I mean, and there's also like there's a lot of religious people who think that these experiences that we're talking about, they think that it's all demonic or everything like that and everything. So they're already projecting that on it, but the conversations are still happening, and people are still reporting tremendous experiences and positive experiences and uplifting things. So it feels like it's just on, it's just all on.
Doesn't it make you happy that they're pushing back on the narrative that they're trying to feed us?
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic about how the dance that's happening right now. It's an interesting
And
little
frustrating.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I love that, you've put a positive spin on things. I mean, totally going with everything that was going on in the world at the time and where we are at now. What I'd like to do, if it's okay though, is just read like the back of the book, because I really
Sure.
think that people who are, if they're on the fence with it, I want them, like, this really summed it up for me, right? So a voyager from Orion comes clean about the past, examines modern chaos, offers stimulating possibility for a future Earth. A planet in crisis, true, cultural clashes, climate catastrophes, and the threat of a world war. Meanwhile, extraterrestrials and spirit beings work behind the scenes to assist through some to add fuel to the global fire. By harnessing the power of our human energy, bodies might be the key, and I love this, to unlocking the Earth's future. The mysterious Orion Contingent investigates all of this and more through the voice of their speaker, a consciousness explorer known as N-1. Somatic awareness, healing lifetimes of trauma, angelic guides, UFOs, Pleiadians, Sirians, Greys, Reptilians, and the slick games of contemporary digital culture are dissected in a collection of metaphysical fireside chats, step-by-step mind-body exercises. Enhance your experience of this material received by Chris during the pandemic. A dynamic inner world awaits us, and it does. The book was excellent.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for reading that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I just, I want everybody to know this is also in the description of the show. And I've put an Amazon link there as well to the book. And of course, your website and your bio and everything else. So, where can they buy the book? Is it just Amazon or can they get it through you?
Amazon, barnesandnoble.com. Most places where books are sold, I think it's available. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's still in pre-order. I believe it's they were saying February 1st. It might be February 10th is the release, but that's just around the corner.
That's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Literally.
I know. This was good timing.
Yeah, very good timing. Thanks for having me in a good time.
Oh my gosh, what an honor to have you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. So what do you have coming up? Promote yourself. What have you got coming up where people can find you and hear more about?
Well, you can anything that I'm doing or any events, you can go to berrymanbooks.com and they will be, there should be events listed there, other works. You can also buy Flying Saucer Visions, my first book there, and other things too. There'll be more material up there and more stuff going on all the time. So that's the main place you could go.
I love it. And of course, in the write-up, the show description is your website, and we've flashed it up here as well throughout the last half of the show. So, wow, thank you so much. And if you do come out with that next book, we want to know about it.
Oh, excellent. Oh, yes. I would love to follow you guys. Yeah.
Even if you just want to hang out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Talk more. There's still much more.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Come on and do another segment. We'll just talk about anything we missed and talk about, current stuff, wherever, whatever you want to talk about. People love it. But it's a positive message. And in a world that is so all over the place right now with emotion and rhetoric, and it's hard to filter out, what needs to be taken in. It is really hard. So thank you for all of these positive messages and joining us tonight.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thanks, Michelle and Amelia, for having me so much. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. And to everybody in chat, thank you guys. You guys are always awesome. To our chat family, big thank you. Tomorrow night, Ira Wolfnitson returns. She was a past Luciferian, and she is now totally the other way. So many interesting things to say. She has literally come from elite classes, and she has, been educated in some of the world's mystery schools. Yes, they do, and they still exist and open to certain people. Amazing stuff. Check out her interviews with me on Beyond the Outer Realm. But tomorrow night, she's going to be coming in and sharing her knowledge about UFOs, fallen angels, and the Nephilim. So that's going to be something. Yes.
I'm sad I'm missing that.
I know. It's like, that'll be interesting. She's very knowledgeable lady. So thank you all, and we'll see you all tomorrow evening. Good night.